Good morning, friends. Welcome to the vlog. This weekend we are traveling like 3 hours away to a different town for a friend's wedding. Cam is in the wedding. I'm just attending, but we will be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday because he's in the wedding, so rehearsal dinner and all that kind of stuff. So we have an Airbnb on a lake. I'm super excited to see people and read a lot. We're starting off with picking up some donuts before we even head out, so we're picking those up. I'm hoping that the donut shop has coffee. That would be ideal. So we're gonna pick those up and then we're gonna finish packing, get the car loaded up, and head out. It's about a 3-hour drive, so I might do some reading. I don't want to get car sick though, so likely we will just be listening to music because John Bellion released a new album, so we will be listening through that. We got a London fog flavor, brown sugar maple glaze, pistachio cardamom, and a cinnamon sugar. And they smell and look fantastic. I'm so excited to try them. Also, I got a coffee float. They have like specialty made salted caramel ice cream that goes in an iced coffee. I tasted it. I don't think that the ice cream has melted enough yet for the flavor of the ice cream to get into the coffee, but I'm so excited for that to melt and get in there because I think it's going to be so good. The coffee tastes good itself. Alright, we are back from picking up donuts. We took some over to my parents and ate some there. They were absolutely delicious. Fantastic. 10 out of 10 would recommend. And the spot was so cute too. I think it's fairly new in town, but like the place was so vibey and bright and just this really fun atmosphere. So loved that. Once the ice cream melted in the coffee float, it was absolutely delicious. Am I gonna have a sugar crash later? Probably. Do I care? Absolutely not. Now what we're going to do are packing and then we're gonna set off. I am planning on bringing all of the books in my June TBR just so that I can kind of read as I feel. I might bring some extras because a lot of them are actually pretty small books or have like really big font. I'm gonna do some packing and then we're gonna head out and I will talk to you later. Check. I just got this set from Target. It's super fun and cute, kind of gives coastal vibes, which are my favorite and I love. I think it was like $12 for the shirt and $12 for the shorts, and we love that so much. It's a very oversized, so if you were to get it, I would like probably size down, but super cute, super comfy, and now we get to go drive for 3 hours. So o'clock. Cam just left to go to the rehearsal dinner and bachelor party. We got here probably around 3:30, so didn't have a ton of time to explore necessarily, but we unpacked and walked down by the lake a little bit. The Airbnb isn't exactly on the lake. It's a little bit of a walk away, not far, but like the porch outside just overlooks the forest, not a lake. But still super cute, and I'm excited to just go read. The Airbnb is over a coffee shop. I thought that the Airbnb was over a restaurant, but it's over the coffee shop, so I'm super excited about that. I think I'm going to go get dinner there tonight, probably a little bit later. I'm probably just gonna hang in here for a little bit, and then I'll go get dinner at the cafe tonight. And the rest of the night, I'm really just planning on reading. Tomorrow I need to put my press-on nails on, and I'll need to get ready and everything. But tonight, I'm planning to just read. Maybe I'll watch a little bit of YouTube, catch up on some of the things I've missed. I have read a little bit more of A Northern Light today. It's not super engaging, not super interesting to me. I'm not sure if it's going to get more. It feels like it's a really slow beginning. There's a lot of background and backstory to it. The main character is working at a hotel in the North Woods, and one of the patrons dies, and it seems like that's kind of the mystery. I think it might end up being a murder, is kind of what it looks like it's shaping up to be, and I assume the mystery is going to be figuring out who killed her, what happened, that kind of thing. But it's been really slow going so far. We're going back and forth between like the past, when our main character was trying to start work at the hotel and trying to get her dad to agree to let her work at the hotel, and then the present, where she is working at the hotel and where this whole mystery is happening. So there's a disconnect there. We're going back and forth. There's a lot of flashback scenes, and the flashback scenes to me are definitely not as interesting as the present. So I'm hoping that we eventually move on from the flashbacks and spend more time in the present than we do in the past. But we will see. I'm not super far in, so I'm gonna continue reading that for a little bit, and then I think I'm gonna go to dinner. From dinner at the cafe under our Airbnb, and it was delicious. It was so good. The lady working was so nice, so patient with me as I looked at the menu and tried to decide what I wanted. Super sweet, gave me recommendations, helped me pick, was so nice. They had so many like specialty drinks with flavors that I've never seen before. Like they have a cheesecake syrup. So I got a cherry cheesecake latte. Kind of fantastic, honestly. Like, I'm loving it. Very dessert type drink, but it's great. For dinner, I got a blackened chicken pita. It was like a hummus combo goat cheese type thing with blackened chicken and cucumber and red onion and this like delicious sauce. It was so good. And that came with a soup cup, so I had this buffalo chicken soup. And all of it was just so yummy. The soup was delicious. The pita was delicious. Not at all what I expected. Like very much more restaurant type food than like coffee shop type food. We'll definitely be going back there tomorrow morning. I read more of A Northern Light before going down to dinner. I don't know, maybe like a third of the way through. And I think I'm gonna DNF it. I have read 115 pages of this book and I'm bored. Really bored. I have a whole night to read. It is 5:23. I have a whole night to read. And I found myself before dinner thinking like, I kind of don't wanna. Like, what? I have been so excited to spend this evening reading. So I think that this book is just not giving me what I need right now. So I'm going to DNF it. There are 4 books left on my June TBR to read. I have tried reading Una out of order before and DNF'd it, but I don't remember why. So I kind of don't want to try that again right now, since A Northern Light kind of put me in this like, I need something interesting kind of mood. So then I also have The Glass Sentence by S.E. Grove, but I think that this is the start of a series. And then I have Dragon Rider by Cornelia Funk. I think this might be a singular read, but it is children's fiction, so I don't know if it would be too, like, not basic, because children's fiction isn't necessarily basic, but I don't know what I'm feeling right now. I'm having a really hard time deciding. I also have The Unmaking of June Farrow, which is our book club book. But I kind of wanted to save that because we don't have book club for a couple weeks yet, and I don't want to, like, forget what it's about by reading a bunch of other books after I read it. So I'm having a really hard time picking. I think I might do Dragon Rider. I did also bring the first 3 or 4 books of the Ranger's Apprentice series because I've been wanting to reread that. It's in my TBR jar, but if I start it, I'm fine with that. And if I pick it for a month, I'll just take it out and pick a different one. But I've been feeling the, like, desire to reread some of my old favorites, and that's one of them. So, and those are, like, fairly easy small books to, like, kind of get me into it. So I'm going to start Dragon Rider, and if I'm having a hard time with it, I might switch to Ranger's Apprentice. We will see. I'm just gonna hang out in here, drink the last of my cherry cheesecake latte, and read my book. Dragon Rider by Cornelia Funk. It is cute so far, definitely a children's story, but I am enjoying it. I think there's just not as much depth to it as I was kind of hoping for. Like, I think right now would be a really great, like, fantasy read, like gripping fantasy read would be really nice in this kind of situation, and unfortunately I don't have anything like that with me. Basically, it seems like this is about a dragon finding his way to the safe place for dragons because humans are taking over the world. So it is set almost like present day, but fantastical creatures exist, but most humans don't believe in them. So that's kind of the setting idea, and now this dragon is trying to make his way to a safe place. So I guess we'll see if he can find it. Okay, I apologize for the lighting. It's dark out now, 9 o'clock. I am probably 3/4 of the way through Dragon Rider, and I just had this thought about a difference between children's fantasy and, like, young adult or adult fantasy that just struck me as very interesting, because for the whole first half of this book, anytime we met a new character, I was like, ooh, they're gonna be a bad guy, they're gonna go tell on them, they're gonna expose them to the mastermind evil guy. But most of the people who they met were there to help them, along in their quest to find a safe place for the dragon. Most of the people that they met were good people that wanted to help them. The evil was the explicitly evil character that we've known has been evil the whole time. And I think it just really highlighted the difference between older fantasy versus children's fantasy for me, because in children's fantasy, in a lot of the adventure kind of books and a lot of the, like, books where you encounter a lot of side characters, it feels like usually the side characters are good. They're helpful. They help the main characters in the quests. But as you get older, more and more characters pretend to be good and are actually bad, are just straight up bad, become bad, like things like that, like they're manipulative or treacherous, to the point where now when I'm reading a book, I assume that a character that originally looks like a good guy is probably going to end up being a bad guy. If they're that obviously good, they must actually be bad. And it probably makes for a slightly more interesting story because there's a little bit more nuance to the good and bad. There's more gray area, there's more emotional highs and lows, because when a character betrays a character that you love, you feel betrayed as well. And so there are these emotional hills and valleys. And that is, I think, something that we like when we read. Like, it makes you feel something, it makes you feel these emotions, and it's good to feel things when you read. But it's also kind of teaching this lack of trust, that you can't trust anyone that seems too good, because they're probably going to turn out evil, or they're going to betray you somehow. Like, it feels like that's the direction that older fantasy goes. I don't know. I don't think I need to get fully philosophical on it, but I thought that it was really interesting to me that children's fantasy seems to encourage this idea that people help. People want to help, that you can just trust people. Like in this book, they're telling literally everybody where they're planning on going and what their mission is. And in like any like young adult or older fantasy book, if someone told the first person who asked what their mission was and where they were going, they would regret that so quickly. They would be betrayed so fast. But in this book, all of these people are helping. And like, that's super sweet. And I think it says something about the way that we sometimes view the world, that the older we get, the less we trust. And is that because of what we read that we learn to distrust? Or do we write in betrayal and treachery because that's what we learn from our experiences? Feels like chicken and the egg kind of situation, which came first. Anyway, those are my mildly philosophical. Is that philosophy? It might not be philosophy, but those are my thoughts so far as I'm reading this book. It's very cute. It's not exactly gripping, but it's cute. I enjoy the goofy, funny little characters, and I really enjoy the fantastical element set in the real world. They're journeying through places that exist and using names of places that exist and interacting with humans in those places, and that's kind of fun. So I have been enjoying that, and I think I'm just gonna continue to read for a little while. It is 10:10, and I just finished Dragon Rider. It was cute. I think I'll give it like 3.5 out of 5 stars. It didn't feel anything particularly unique necessarily, but it was very cute. I enjoyed the little relationship aspects and the little fantastical creatures, and the way that it was still set in our present day world. I did really enjoy that. And the plot was good. It was an interesting story. It was a fun adventure. I think there just wasn't a ton, like it felt like I kind of kept reading because I didn't have a lot of other options. It wasn't necessarily super engaging to me. And it didn't feel like, it felt like there was only one character that really had a decent amount of character development. But it was still really cute and interesting and kind of just a fun, cozy little like fantasy read. So I did enjoy that. And now I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna start another book or just watch a show or YouTube or something for a little bit. I'm not totally sure. buffet downstairs this morning, and again, it was delicious. I got blackened shrimp breakfast tacos, and I don't think I've ever had shrimp with eggs before, but it was fantastic. There was a chipotle sauce on top that made it. Cam is off to get ready and do all that kind of stuff. I did start Una Out of Order this morning, and I'm liking the premise. I'm liking it so far. It's definitely interesting. The writing is intriguing as well. The concept feels unique. Basically, every year on her birthday, she mentally ages a year, physically hops around between various years. So when she turns on her 19th birthday, so the year she goes from 18 to 19, mentally she goes from 18 to 19. Physically, she goes from 18 to 51. That's about as far as I am right now. Actually, there's not really, we just went from 18 to 51. So I'm not really sure what made me DNF this book the first time I tried to read it. So we'll see how this continues to go. We do have friends that are coming here before going to the wedding with me. So I probably won't be filming very much or reading particularly much. Until then, I'll be doing makeup, getting ready, all that kind of stuff. So then we have the actual wedding. So today probably won't be much for reading or anything like that. Maybe a little bit tomorrow before we leave. Regardless, this has been interesting so far, and we will see if it continues to be. That's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm gonna go work on doing makeup. Driving home. The wedding last night was fantastic, super fun, one of the best weddings I've been to. All of the speeches were just so sweet and heartfelt, and everybody was just having a blast, so loved that. This morning I read a little bit more of Una Out of Order before we packed up. It's still very interesting to me. I'm not very far into it. I've only read it for little bits and pieces at a time, so don't have a lot more to say about it. We're still in the same chapter I was in last time. She's still 51. We'll see what happens as I get a little bit further. I definitely didn't read as much as I thought I was going to read. I think I was not in as much of a reading mood on Friday night as I assumed I was going to be. But I have enjoyed the weekend. It's been a fantastic weekend, and I did get to finish at least one book, so I'm calling it a success. And I will check in with you guys when we get home. Sometimes gas station cappuccino hits different, and I will accept no judgment on this matter. Thank you.